You can't spray. See, I know something about spray. Know something about roach bait. Oh, no, I don't have a house that's infested with them. But I know people that have. And what an exterminator told me is that if you spray, some of them might die. A lot of them might die. But they have babies. And then you spray them, and then they have babies. So you got to put out bait. See where I'm going? And then with the bait, they lick each other. They bring it back to where the babies are. And then it starts killing the babies. And then, well, you can kill them all. We got to start putting bait out. We need to be ahead of the curve on this. And to do that, and to me, the only way to do that is Christians and Muslims working together. When I'm saying Muslims that love the United States of America, love our country, love our freedom. We may not agree with the Quran being the end-all, be-all, and you may not believe that the Bible's the end-all, be-all. However, we love America. We love the freedoms, and we want to live in peace. And that's the only way that the world's going to be able to do that. But we cannot subscribe to this lunatic ideology that says, kill if you don't believe. I mean, come on, stop it. It's just ridiculous. Not everybody's going to believe exactly the way you believe. Okay. But just to kill everybody, that's not a loving God. That's the God I want to serve. To think you're going to get some virgin boys after you do it. Come on, you cockroach. It's disgusting. I hope somebody from ISIS is listening. You're a cockroach, is what you are. Cockroach. Disgusting cockroaches and cowards. What a cowardly thing to do, to think that a righteous God is going to give you virgins. Come on, you're man enough. You can't even take care of your own woman. That makes you think you're going to handle 70 women on the way out. Wow, yeah, that's what he's going to do. You're the man. Look what you've done. You killed a bunch of people. You're the man. It is frustrating, though, when you hear that the police have had, these folks under surveillance, know that they're bad apples. And then the alleged attacker purportedly argued with police over the unfurling of an ISIS flag while filming a jihad documentary in the park, according to Metro. And then 2 people had reported an unidentified man, and then one of the 3 killed after the attack. The police were they said that they were believed was a radical behavior, including trying to radicalize kids of a neighbor, young kids. Trying to go after the young children, impressionable minds. See, it's weak-minded people that will believe in that stuff. And then one of the attackers actually had a phony baloney suicide jacket on. I mean, how cowardly to scare the police that he was going to blow himself up or scare other people that we're going to blow everybody. It's going to blow. Couldn't put a real one on. Maybe he didn't even know how to make one. Maybe he was that stupid. Apparently, they were dumb because they all lost their lives. And they were mowed down with bullets, not with the knives they inflicted all that pain. A stray bullet, too, when police started firing at these assailants. Did you hear this? An American bystander was injured on the London Bridge with a stray bullet. The authorities have revealed no details about this American civilian, but said he was expected to survive, according to NBC News. And so that's good news. The American was wounded, once again, as police shot and killed the London Bridge attackers, according to Fabio Lamas, a worker at the Borho Market pub who reported the incident initially. He says, I got people to start evacuating inside and got people to come into the bar and go into the toilets, hide under tables, and hide in our cellar where we keep all our stock. And then I heard shootings, and I saw an American guy get shot in the head. He was bleeding through his eyes. I went to get the first aid kit, and I started speaking to his friends and try to calm him down or them down. But the American was standing close to a window inside the pub, and at least one of the attackers was shot dead outside the location. Lamas told NBC News, and then the victim was with his two friends who said they were American doctors who lived in London. So a lot of people witnessed this stuff. Again, more people hurt, and at least an American got injured, but thank God he's able to make a recovery on this. Folks, if you digest this, you understand this, you know where this is going, folks. And if President Trump, when him beating the drum for his travel ban and being critical of the Justice Department for taking a watered-down version of the U.S. Supreme Court, I subscribe to what Donald Trump says. I believe in what he says. And he says police, the lawyers, and the courts can call it whatever they want, but I am calling it for what we need, and what it is a travel ban. He said that the Justice Department should not have gone to the high court with a watered-down, politically correct version of his long-sought plan. The March directive narrowed the scope of the original order, which was hastily unveiled during the Trump's first week in office. Both orders, amid a temporary halting entry to the U.S. from a half-dozen Muslim-majority countries, have been blocked by the lower courts. The Justice Department should have stayed with the original travel ban, not the watered-down, politically correct version they submitted to the Supreme Court. Then he followed this up with more tweets minutes later with an online of his idea on how the Justice Department should proceed, calling for a much tougher version. He goes on to say the Justice Department should ask for an expedited hearing of the watered-down travel ban before the Supreme Court and seek much tougher versions. Folks, I just don't think that they're going to take this thing very seriously. It's London. It's London. It's not the United States, and so when something else in the United States happens, then they might consider it, but then it'll be too late. And unfortunately, people don't learn, and they have short memories. I mean, come on, 2001, 2017, people, they a lot of people just were born and don't even know, don't even forget, 9/11, there's a new building up there. Forget about the thousands of people that died. Forget about the Boston Marathon. Forget about Chattanooga. Forget about all those people. Have short memories. If you don't shut it down, it's going to happen again. History repeats itself. And for me, I'm grateful that we have a president that's going to fight and continue fighting for us. But there comes a time, folks, where insanity, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And folks, we knew it was going to be a fight when Trump got in. Trump knew it was going to be a fight. But anything worth saving is worth fighting for. Don't you agree? And for the United States of America, we'll fight for her. We'll stand for her. Patriots, stand. Let your voices be heard. But this PC correctness with these judges, activist judges, and police officers, and not all, but so many heroic ones, and the police officers know that Trump has their back. But imagine if the police were actually able to do their job over in London. I think a lot of this stuff would have been thwarted, but they're too PC correct. Too PC correct. Big time. No guns. Thank God we have a constitution. Boy, if the left had their way, we probably wouldn't have them. Oh, you know what Hillary Clinton wants to do. She wants us to not have them gunless, and then ISIS would really have their way. I think it scares the bejeebies out of them. A lot of Americans are armed and can take them out. I'll tell you what, I'm telling you, everything's big in Texas. People are strapping and packing. I had the opportunity to see some things when I was in Dallas, and where JFK was assassinated, and I stayed a couple blocks down from my hotel at the Sheraton off Olive Street, and I took a walk with my brother, and there's a little mark on the street where he was shot, and then purportedly where Lee Harvey Oswald fired from the building down onto the street. Of course, the grassy knoll, you know where that is. If you've done any homework and followed the assassination and what people say, the grassy knoll is where people really think he got shot. It wasn't Oswald at all, but there's a lot of conspiracy around it, just given the climate of the country back then. But I didn't take a picture of me pointing to the spot. I think it's kind of sacred ground, don't you? But I was there. And we should never forget President Kennedy and his words. And I'm reminded about his words and what he said, calling the country to greatness and asking not what your country can do for it, but what we can do for, it's not what they can do for us, the government. It's what we can do for it. We have to be proactive. We have to be about doing good. We have to protect our country, and we can't just rely solely on the police. We have to be vigilant and work in association with the police and with government, getting involved, being plugged in. We cannot allow folks to ruin what so many have fought for too long. But I'll tell you, it just seems like so many Americans are complacent. For the left especially. When something bad happens, then, okay, give the president what he needs. And unfortunately, folks, I have to say, you're going to see it. Something bad's going to happen, then they're going to allow the president to do whatever he needs to do. But not until then. And I don't wish anything bad on our country, folks. Let me just preface that and say this. I don't wish anything bad on our country, but I do believe it's going to take something of a 911 proportion, if not worse, unfortunately, for them to allow him to be able to do what he wants to do. And what is it that he wants to do? Does he want to ban all Muslims worldwide? He wants to vet people that come in here correctly, effectively, efficiently. If they're coming from terrorist hot havens around the country, known places that breed terror, and that ideology to come in to try to build up a networks where they can go and carry out more attacks. We don't want those kind of people in here. We don't want them here. I don't want them. America doesn't want you here. But to allow people to freely walk in and prance in here anytime they want, that's a no-go. And guess what? Most countries don't let people just come in. You know what country's really difficult to get in? Canada. It's not the easiest country to get in. Seriously, it's not easy to get in. I've heard about Canadians walking into our borders, but it's not easy getting in theirs. And try to walk into Mexico. Try it. Try just to walk over. You're gonna get shot. Most countries will kill you if you try to illegally come in. And then we try to protect our borders. The liberals just let them walk in, do whatever they want to do. Riddle our streets, our cities with drugs. Did you hear about the new drug, by the way, K2? Look it up. There was a guy that was out of his mind, had to be strapped up in a straitjacket. K2, it's synthetic marijuana. Synthetic. And they spray chemicals, all different kinds of chemicals on it. They're selling it. And people are on it, and they lose their minds. They get crazy and convulsive, and they just literally go out of their minds. And a lot of them, they lose their mind. And kids are using this stuff like crazy. Educate your kids about K2, folks. I understand it's cheaper, but it's supposed to be a great high. And people literally lose their minds, and they go nuts. They have to be put in a straitjacket. This stuff's dangerous. Literally can alter the personality into the brain. It's got synthetic chemicals in it. It's not real marijuana. K2, look it up. And if you know anybody that's looking for cheap drugs or whatever, that's one of them, and it's killing people. It's very, very sad. I learned that when I was in Dallas, unfortunately. Guess who is going to court? And I tell you what, I hope justice prevails for this dirty old man